Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'd like to share some tips for Project Zomboid. Rather than just shotgun them out randomly, I figured I'd try to sort them by people's experience. Those things to the right of your screen are Moodles. They're what's going to get you in trouble. They're tracking whether you're tired, thirsty, scared, etc. And most of them will be giving your character penalties in subtle or not so subtle ways. Deal with them. If you're thirsty, drink some water. If you're tired, sit down for a while. If you're bleeding, bandage it. You'll figure it out. Zombies can both see and hear you. Stealth works okay for sneaking past zombies looking the other way, but if they're looking at you, they're going to see you, no matter how good your stealth is. For the most part, travel your starting town, you're going to be fighting zombies. Don't barge through doors. You might walk right in the middle of a dozen zombies. Slow and steady is your best bet, but you will learn some other ways to handle things as well. Any weapon is better than no weapon, but keep an eye on its condition, as you don't want it breaking at a bad time. Also, condition is a terrible metric for how many more swings you can expect to get out of a weapon, as it's really showing you a percentage of a hidden number that's going to vary wildly between durable and flimsy weapons. A middling condition metal bar is going to last you a lot longer than a mint condition umbrella. Don't pick up everything you find, or else your over-encumbered Moodle will appear, followed not long after by a tired Moodle. There's no point in dying with 8 cans of emergency peas in your bag. Day 1 is mostly about clearing some space to work with. Keep an eye out for a backpack. A backpack lets you store items inside it while giving you a huge discount on the weight of those items. So even a humble school bag is going to let you carry 15 units inside it, while only effectively weighing 10, counting the bag itself.
I'm glad they did.
Higher quality bags carry more and provide even larger weight discounts. Get a water bottle. Get 2. I like to keep one in my backpack and one in my main. You don't actually auto-drink from the bottle in your bag, but it's there when you need it if you run into trouble. Garbage bins are a good place to find empty bottles. You can also drink a soda or empty out a beer bottle to free up the vessel. The goal is never to get hurt, but you should carry bandages anyway. If possible, before leaving your starter house, you can rip up an item of clothing into rags. If you've forgotten to do this before getting injured, you can rip up an item of your own clothing, such as socks. The virus that's turned everyone into zombies is called the Nox infection. By default, a zombie bite will always infect you, while a scratch or laceration from a zombie has a percentage chance to affect you. Other injuries like falling or cutting your hand on broken glass will never infect you. Nox takes a few days to kill you, but it's 100% fatal. Note that a wound infection is not the same as a Nox infection, and they can be safely ignored. There are a lot of different types of guns you can find. Just leave them alone for now. They're often quite heavy to lug around, not helpful unless you have plenty of ammunition, and anyway, you've got other stuff to focus on. Bonus: I'd recommend playing without mods at first. PZ is a great game and it plays just fine without mods. I'd suggest you try to survive at least a week or 2 before even looking at the Steam Workshop. A lot of people will recommend you don't jog unless you need to. I'm of the opposite school of thought. I think you should jog a lot. Not only does it get you around faster, but it's leveling your sprinting skill, which makes jogging more efficient when you do need it. The thing is, if you're going to jog around a lot, you need to rest more. Whenever you find a calm moment, sit on the ground next to a chair or a bed and right-click on it to rest. You'll recover your lost fatigue very quickly, provided your character isn't ridiculously tired. The best way to fight zombies inside a building is don't fight zombies inside a building. Avoid fighting inside buildings wherever possible. Getting cornered is a great way to get killed. If there's zombies in a house, just lure them outside. You are their favourite food after all. Speaking about favourites, the game has a favourite system, where you can tag items in your inventory. A favourite item will remain in your inventory if you try to drag it out or use the transfer all feature. If you're running armfuls of loot back to a base or a car, this is a great way to quickly load and unload your inventory without dropping your water bottle, bandage, cigarettes, etc. Watch what you eat. Don't eat burnt food, rotten food, unidentified berries, bleach, etc. All of these can kill you. Just as in real life, you shouldn't even keep these things near your food, lest mistakes occur. You know you can fight more than 6 zombies at a time, but it's inefficient. When attacking a group of zombies, try to just get the attention of 1 or 2 at a time. You can fight larger groups, but you will tend to spread your hits around more, swinging a lot, and killing very little for your efforts. If you've got too many zombies on your tail, your best bet is to actually draw in even more. Think about it. If every zombie nearby is following you, then everywhere else is clear. Walk around and shout till you've got all the friends on your heels, then ditch them by circling a building and letting them get distracted smashing windows and doors. Ducking in and out of forests can work too. When all else fails, there's the walk of shame. Unless you're injured, you can walk faster than zombies. So maybe you end up leaving Moldor with 800 zombies chasing you, but you can just keep walking and they won't catch you. This isn't ideal, but I'm sure we've all done it. This is why you carry a spare water bottle and maybe something to snack on. You may have to go quite some distance, especially if you're unfamiliar with the map. I'd totally recommend new players going into the game blind, but eventually you're going to want to check out the map.projectzomboid.com. The map is huge, and it's only going to get larger in Build 42. You should always keep an eye out for a working car, even if you've got one. Working means it has fuel, battery charge, and engine condition. And, tires and shit. You also need a key. When I find a working car, I like to leave it parked in such a way as to let me know at a glance that it's there if I need it. The game is meant to be played however you want to play it. Look at the sandbox settings and build the game that's going to suit you. You can change an awful lot about your game world before even getting to mods. Maybe you want your world to have lots of ammunition to play around with, or just less zombies. It's very common for players to play with the respawn turned entirely off. Bonus: sometime, towards the end of your first week of surviving, a helicopter is going to arrive. Good luck with that. The radio's emergency broadcast comes on the hour, every hour. You need to find the signal on an existing radio, but then you can just tune any radio in to listen to it. If you find it early enough, it will give you a heads up about the upcoming helicopter event. Beyond that one-time event, it can be useful for farmers to know if they're expecting rain, and for anyone that's leaving their base, it's very helpful to know if a fog is about to roll in. Your character's hunger and their weight are wholly separate mechanics. You can be filling your belly with a couple of fresh vegetables every day, and over time you will still see your weight plummet, eventually to dangerous levels. You need to keep that meat on your bones, which involves more than just eating when you're hungry. I guess this also goes the other way. If you eat whenever you're hungry, but you only eat fattening food, your weight will balloon, which isn't as bad, because at least it won't kill you. Learn how to plumb a sink. You can survive drinking tainted water, but you don't want to. Plumbing doesn't require any leveled skills, though you probably want carpentry to build and move water collectors. Plumbing is easy enough that I don't consider any of my outposts or safe houses legit until they have their own clean source of water. If you're thinking of starting farming, you want to get cabbage seeds or at least potato seeds. Everything else is a significant step down in usefulness. If you're planning to start fishing, then you want to get around to leveling it up before winter rolls in. Once winter hits, you will suffer an extreme penalty to catch anything, and as you mostly gain experience by catching stuff, this means you'll also struggle to raise the skill at all. Get a working car and put together all the tools required to keep it in decent condition. I always like to pack spare sheet metal and propane torches for touching up the bodywork when out on the road. If you've had to plow through 20 zombies, take the next opportunity to get out and assess the damage. When driving in a car, you should always consider what you're going to do if suddenly it craps out while there are zombies about. Do you trust it will come back to life and just sit there trying to fire it up? Or do you abandon it immediately and start running? Hesitation or making the wrong call can be fatal. A car seat can store items. In fact, it can store up to its limit or a single item of any weight for those times where you might be trying to move a generator or a fridge. If you try to sit on a seat with items on it, you will have to move them first, which is terrible if you've got zombies on your tail. You can shoot from a car window if you have the window rolled down. Note that you can do a lot of things while driving. If you try to reload a gun, your character will temporarily lose control of the car. They won't stop giving it inputs, rather they will continue to do whatever they were doing before they started reloading. So, for example, if they were turning left, they're going to keep turning left until the reload is done, likely causing an accident. Zombies are very vulnerable when falling over fences or windows, and this is true whether you're smashing, stomping, or shooting them. In the options menu, you can enable a manual targeted ground attack so you don't whiff in the air when you want to crack something's skull. Do be careful of these zombie fence lunges though, they can end a run in a heartbeat. Bonus: mods. There are so many out there. from quality of life mods to radical overhauls and even map extensions. At some point, you're going to want to make Zomboid even more perfect for you. Get on the Steam Workshop and check them out. You can build floor through windows, allowing you to make elevated walkways, balconies, and overhangs to support rain collectors, all without needing to sledgehammer out a wall. This only works on windows on the north and west wall of buildings. While you can sledgehammer out a staircase to prevent zombies from getting up to your flying fortress, it's usually going to be easier to build a wooden floor tile and then deconstruct it to create a hole. This is still completely zombie-proof, but much easier to repair if desired. While the low fence plus path blocking object is the classic zombie-proof barrier, it's actually vulnerable to crawlers. As of build 41.78, a virgin composter is impervious to zombie attack. That is, a compost you've created but have not picked up since its initial construction. Note that composters cannot be constructed below a roof, so there's still some situations where a fence plus box works well. The best way to clear hundreds or even thousands of zombies is with shotguns and a shitload of ammo or fire. A Molotov or a stationary burn uses very little resources, unless you count whatever you accidentally burn down while doing it. The zombies that will spawn inside a building do not exist until you get close to the building and can see inside it. This means you can sit outside shooting guns and honking horns for hours, and you will never lure the zombies out of a building because they aren't there yet. Extreme cold isn't really a problem, just wear layers of clothes, especially when sleeping. Even moderately hot days are more of a problem, as unless you're running around half naked, you're going to start sweating and overheating, which leads to even more dangerous moodles. Generators. You can't fight while carrying them, you can't climb a tall fence while holding one, but you can climb a sheetrope. You either need to start as an electrician, or much more likely need to read the generator magazine to get them to work. Fire one up inside a building and it will kill you. Let its condition run down to 0 and it will explode and burn down your house. A generator powers 2 floors up and 2 floors down in a 20 tile radius. The game offers a walk to command, which you can access by right clicking. You're not going to use it much, but here's 3 times you might want to have it in your toolkit. Walk to lets you know if what looks like floor is actually floor. I'm looking at you, Rosewood Fire Station. Walk 2 is also useful for moving carefully along narrow raised platforms. Just note, if you try to take a sharp turn, it will sometimes end you. Lastly, Walk 2 is a good option for moving through dense woodlands. The pathfinder will actually do its best to avoid trees as it goes. In all cases, while using Walk 2, you can hold shift to jog. When you're sitting in a car, zombies can scratch or bite you through the nearest window, breaking it if they need to. If you park your car flush up against an object the zombies can't pass through, like a building or another car, then you can prevent the zombies from getting near the window. I find this useful for being a little more secure when sleeping on a road trip, but if enough zombies surround your car, this may just be prolonging the inevitable. While climbing a sheetrope, you're locked in for the whole journey. Also, zombies can destroy a sheetrope by walking into it, even if you're climbing it. Put together, this means that you really don't want to be climbing a high sheetrope if there's even the slightest chance there's a zombie nearby. I'm Kyle Middleton, and I hope you found this video entertaining and educational. If you've made it this far, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more guides and gameplay.